So chicken thighs are my favorite because they're easy, they're a little forgiving. If you maybe overcook them a little bit, they're still gonna be tender and juicy. So we're gonna start with salt and pepper, and we're seasoning the skin side first, and then we're gonna sear the skin on this about to be hot pan. Add a little veggie oil to the pan, and you want to use a pan that is oven safe because we're gonna finish all of the cooking in the oven. This is the thing I love about this recipe. You start it on the stovetop, get the skin nice and crispy, and then get it into the oven and everything cooks together. The veggies, the chicken, and tastes delish. Looking for that sizzle, get a nice crisp skin. And once the skin crisps up, it will release on its own. Chicken's good that way. It'll tell you when it's ready to be flipped. Now don't worry about these being too close together. Chicken thighs really shrink up as they cook down. Okay, so now it's time to season the other side. And these are bone-in, skin-on. The bone really adds more flavor, and honestly, it's less expensive. Luna, do you smell the chickens? So while these guys get nice crispy skin, I'm gonna slice up some garlic. I like sliced garlic in this. I really wanna see the garlic and have it crisp up in the oven. So just nice thin slices. I think this chicken is almost ready to be flipped. Yep, those look nice. So they don't have to get fully brown on one side, because remember, they're gonna go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. So we just wanna get the other side cooked just a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna take them out and start building up the sauce. So we're gonna have the chicken roast in this honey mustard sauce with mushrooms, pearl onions, and at the very end, we're gonna throw some frozen peas in there. Let me get all of these back in here so I can throw them in easier. And then we'll quarter our baby bell and mushrooms. Just keeping an eye, make sure they don't overcook. So we all know about Luna, and I've already talked about Nelson. And then there's Henry, the next in age. Henry came pure white cat, 2.5 weeks old, and I had to teach him how to eat regular food. And then Wolfie wanted a cat. And Wolfie took Henry and had a horrible allergy attack. Couldn't breathe. So he brought him back, and I said, that's fine, I'll keep him. So there's foster failure number 2. Okay, let's take the chicken out, but they are not ready to eat yet. We have to build the sauce. And then we're gonna nestle them back in and put them in the oven. Okay, we're gonna start with white wine, and we're gonna deglaze the pan. And deglazing a pan is just getting all those tasty bits. You see those brown bits? That's gonna become our sauce. And the white wine is just a little extra added liquid that helps you get all those brown bits off of the pan. And that's where all the flavor is, because you can see the pepper, all the seasoning that was on the chicken. We wanna burn the alcohol off and let this reduce a little bit. So while that does its job, I'm gonna go get the pearl onions out of the freezer. I love having frozen veggies in my freezer at all times because there's always a dinner you can make with them. And these onions are so much better frozen than buying them fresh because you don't have to peel them and they're ready to go. The whole bag goes right in. Give them a little stir, get the garlic in. So I'm gonna get some honey mustard in here, just a couple tablespoons. Honey mustard has honey, mustard, mayo, vinegar, and some more spices. Honey mustard is really great with chicken because it's tangy, it's also a little bit sweet. Then we're gonna get about 1/4 cup of chicken broth in here to just really get a sauce going. Let's give this a mix. Oh, you can already smell it. Oh, that mustardy smell with a little bit of sweetness. Look at that beautiful creamy sauce already starting to develop, and then it's gonna sit in the oven and really develop a lot of flavor. So let's get the mushrooms in. Now the mushrooms don't even need to cook because they're gonna cook in the oven, so I'm gonna turn the heat off and I'm gonna grab some thyme. We can just put the leaves right in. Thyme leaves come off really easily. And just put in as much or as little as you like, but it adds this beautiful fragrance because you eat with your nose, with your eyes, with your taste buds, everything works together. And this adds a beautiful aroma. And now we're gonna nestle that chicken right back in. And then we're really gonna pump up that honey mustard flavor. So I'm gonna make a little mixture and get it on top of the skin. So just like a tablespoon of oil. And the same with the mustard. And the oil is gonna help keep the skin crispy because that's got some fat in it. If you just put the honey mustard on, it might make the skin a little bit more soggy, and I want the skin to stay crispy. Let's get that mixed up. And then just brush that right on to the crispy skin. It already smells amazing. This is a treat for me. It's my favorite meal, chicken thighs. I'll never get tired of chicken thighs. Let's get these into the oven and get the lemon bars into the fridge. It smells amazing. I'm gonna leave the doors open because I'm adding some peas. Stir this around a little bit. So I just wanna tuck the peas in here. The peas are frozen. I'm gonna turn the oven off, and the peas will finish cooking with the residual heat from all of this and the oven. And then I'm going to make the slaw to go with it. So this goes back into the oven. Let's go get that chicken. Oh, it looks so good. The peas cooked perfectly. Let's put a plate together. Grab some slaw. Grab a nice piece of chicken. Look at that, a whole meal in one pan. All those veggies, that yummy chicken. Looks good enough to eat, so I think I'll eat it. I'm gonna start with this chicken. It's so tender. Love me some chicken thighs. So what I'm gonna start with is this dipping sauce, ginger and scallions, and I'm gonna kind of thread it through everything. I'm gonna use the sauce as a dipping sauce for the chicken, and I'm also gonna use it as a marinade, but I'm gonna pump up the flavor a little bit more in the marinade. So we've got all of these scallions. So we're gonna grate some ginger. This is the easiest way, is you just grate right over. We're gonna use this again, so I'm gonna put it to the side. Grab myself a garlic clove, get the garlic in there. Okay, so now we have our garlic in there. Ooh, so we'll get a 1/4 cup of veggie oil, and then some rice vinegar, a couple tablespoons. Rice vinegar is really lovely. It's kind of mellow, but yet it's got enough tartness in it. 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. That's gonna be your saltiness right there from the soy sauce. Let's give that a quick mix. Now I'm going to make the marinade for the chicken with a couple tablespoons of the dipping sauce that we already made. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the back counter. So this is the beginning of the chicken marinade, but I wanna add some heat to it. So we're gonna get some sambal olek in there, which is an Indonesian chili paste. So just a teaspoon. If you don't have sambal olek, you can use sriracha, which is a little bit on the sweeter side. Rice vinegar, 1, 2. Some soy sauce. Veggie oil. Give that a quick stir. And let's go get our chicken. Love chicken thighs. They've got so much flavor. They're very forgiving. So what we'll do is we'll let this marinate for at least 30 minutes. And then once it goes on the grill, we'll just sprinkle some salt and pepper on there. Now I can get started on that chicken. Now I wanna take the chicken thighs out of the marinade, just get it on some paper towels. I'm gonna turn our little grill pan on, give it some salt and pepper. So we're just gonna do this one side, and then we're gonna put the seasoned side down and then season the other side while they're cooking on the grill pan. All right, let's get some salt and pepper on these guys. So these guys will grill for about 7 to 10 minutes on each side. Let's give the chicken a little look-see. Yes, beautiful. So let these guys cook about 7 to 10 minutes. Chicken is ready to come off. So I'm gonna take our little sauce all over. Remember, we marinated the chicken and all the same ingredients that are in the scallion ginger sauce, but we added some sambal olek. That looks amazing. You're gonna come to me, and we're gonna have a little bite. We just cleaned out my refrigerator and made an amazing meal. What I wanna do is get little slashes in there, little nips. And what's gonna happen is the pickle brine is gonna get into that and really flavor the chicken even more. Right, like that. Then, I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but I always have a bunch of pickle brine because I love pickles. This happens to be dill pickles, but you could also use the spicy pickles if you like, but Drea doesn't like too much spice, so we're gonna go with the dill today. And I'm gonna take this pickle brine, I'm gonna use these pickles in the pickle slaw that I'm also gonna put on, but what I wanna do is get most of this brine covering the chicken thighs. About a 1/4 cup, and get the brine all over the chicken. That should be quite enough for the slaw. Now notice I'm not putting any salt, any pepper or anything, because in pickle juice, there's salt, there's vinegar, there's a little bit of sugar, so it's gonna add a lot of flavor. So let's cover this up, get it in the fridge for about 2 hours, and before I dredge them and fry them up, I'm gonna take them out of the fridge and let them come to room temperature. So I've got my chicken thighs already coming to room temperature. I've patted them dry, they're ready to go. Now we have to make the batter that the chicken thighs go into. We're gonna start with the tempura mix. I'm gonna get 3/4 of a cup in here. I love tempura. It's just, the batter is so light and fluffy. It's already got leaveners in it. And I'm also gonna mix this with a little bit of tapioca flour. And I love tapioca flour. And it is a great thickener, but it's also gonna make this a nice light and fluffy batter. I really want this to be a nice, airy, light batter, and that's where club soda comes in. So we'll get 1.25 cups of club soda, and all that bubble-liciousness is what's gonna make a really nice aerated batter. I wanna get a little salt and pepper also for a little flavor. Some salt and a little bit of pepper. And remember, our chicken thighs have been marinating for the last few hours in pickle brine, so they're gonna be nice and salty. So you don't need to add too much. So we've got our nice chicken thighs here. They've been dried, and they've been sitting in that gorgeous pickle brine, getting all kinds of flavor. Just gonna lay them all in. All right, let's get to frying. You want your oil to be at 350 degrees, and that's gonna be just enough of the batter to give it a nice crispy coat. I just wanna give it a little scoot in there. I wanna make sure that the chicken doesn't stick to the bottom. All right, I think I can get these other 2 in there. And you wanna take its temp when you bring it out, and you want it to get to 165 degrees. So you wanna leave these in anywhere between 8 and 10 minutes. You wanna get a beautiful, crisp, golden brown on them. And the thing I like about chicken thighs is that you can overcook them a little bit and you really won't be able to tell. So let's pull the chicken out. It's been about 8, 10 minutes. Make sure they're done. They are a beautiful color. Time for the pickle slaw. Just need half of this cabbage. There we go. Save the other half for something else. I want it to be like shredded. So we're gonna get these as thin as possible. Okay, so we have all of this thinly sliced cabbage. Now I wanna get some of that dill juice. Not only am I gonna put the dill juice in there, but I'm also gonna slice up and dice up pickles. And then the brine is gonna help soften it up. Grab some veggie oil. This is gonna help break it down too. It's just a tablespoon, and that's a nice neutral oil, so you can really taste the flavor of the dill and the pickles. So let's get the pickles chopped up. Just gonna slice them right down the middle, and then give them a quick chop. Okay, I've got these pickles chopped up. I'm gonna get those into the bowl. So that's gonna add some flavor right there. And then that onion that we didn't use earlier for the onion rings, I'm just gonna chop the rest of that and add that to the coleslaw. Okay, our onion is all chopped up. That's gonna go in. Get a little bit of salt in there. And last but not least, some whole grain mustard. This whole grain mustard, what I love about it, they add this really beautiful texture to this, and they kind of just pop in your mouth. So we got 2 tablespoons of that, and then some dill. Adding some fresh dill is always a nice accent. Just so beautiful. It adds that freshness that really does make a difference. What I'm doing is grabbing all of that liquid that's on the bottom and trying to bring it to the top. It'll really start to tenderize this coleslaw, really starting to soften up. Sometimes the simplest ingredients make the best sandwich. This is a brioche bun, a little mayo, a little chicken, a little slaw, top it with a bun. The perfect Sammy. Let this marinate on the back counter and then start putting everything together. Now let's just get some mayo on the top and the bottom. It's best to put the sandwiches together right before we eat so the chicken stays crispy. And there's gonna be so much flavor between the slaw and the chicken. Just need a little moisture from the mayo. 1 each of these beautiful pieces of chicken. We're gonna lay that on the bottom. Get these guys on a platter. What goes on top of this is the slaw we made earlier. Slaw goes right on each sandwich. It's gonna be a nice, messy sandwich. And then you just top them off. Those look so yummy. That looks so delicious. Don't they look beautiful? Look at that. So I'm gonna get the chicken thighs out so I can really saute up all the veggies. Then they're gonna go back in and then everything's gonna go in the oven. I love a one-pan meal. This is the best. So don't worry, these obviously have not been cooked all the way through. They are gonna go into an oven at 400 degrees for about 30, 35 minutes until they are done. It's popping me. I'm gonna turn that heat down. So I've got some onion that I've just sliced. I just want little half moons, and the same with the peppers, and we just want these to get translucent, get nice and tender. This is all gonna shrink down. These veggies have so much water in them that they all just shrink down. They're gonna cause this really beautiful, flavorful little broth. I think I just add a little bit of salt and a little bit of chili flake. I'm slicing up the garlic now, and I'm getting it nice and thin because I really want you to see and taste this garlic. A lot of times I like to grab, what do you call this thing? Grater, zester. It does really good things with the garlic. I get really loopy when I get up too early in the morning. Anyway, I don't want to grate the garlic. I really want to see some beautiful flakes in there. And then if they caramelize and get tender and roasty in the oven, even better. So I'm just getting these into nice thin slivers. So we want to get some oregano out, and we got fresh thyme. And you can always see that this is thyme because they've got these really cute little leaves, and they're very easy to pull off. You just go at the top of the stem, and you can really just pull all of them off really easily. And then you get rid of the big woody stem that isn't tender. We're gonna chop those up. All right, these are nice and soft, so let's get the garlic in. And get the herbs. Give it a quick toss again. What we're doing here is we're just building flavor. Then it's all gonna roast together in the oven. Oh boy, as soon as those herbs and garlic hit the heat, it really starts to get a beautiful aroma going. Time for the potatoes to go in. Little baby gold potatoes. All right, now I'm gonna pop the tomatoes in. Oops, get back in there. Everybody plays in the pool. Okay, one more thing, and these are your artichokes. Now, if you do use frozen, make sure that you drain them and thaw them first. And if they're in the can, make sure they are drained. We don't need to add more liquid. There's plenty in there. And the tomatoes are gonna give us some more liquid as they pop. All right, these guys are looking great. And we really just wanna nestle these on top. We spent all that time getting a beautiful crust and crispy skin. We don't wanna waste that. And we want that skin to crisp up even more in the oven. You could use chicken breasts in this dish. I prefer chicken thighs. They've got so much more flavor. You want bone in, skin on. That bone's gonna impart a lot of flavor too. And see that juice goes right into. That's flavor. Don't waste it. So this beautiful guy's gonna go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 30, 35 minutes. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, and it smells even better. The onions hit you right away with the peppers. Oh boy, does that look good. So there's a few more touches I want. Let's get some feta on there. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that viral recipe that was going around for a while online. The baked feta with tomatoes and olive oil. Maybe it's a little play on that. I want some parsley. I always like something fresh on top. There we go. Oh, you guys, that's so pretty. Just go in for a nice crisp thigh right in the middle. Look. Ooh. Oh, the tenderness of those peppers. I love that. I remember we had potatoes. I forgot all about the potatoes. Get some of those in there. That's a gorgeous dish. Looks really full of flavor. Let's get the perfect bite. A little bit of chicken, some of the veggies, artichoke, pepper, tomato, feta. Let's see if I can fit all that in my mouth. Oh, wow. That's quite lovely. So what we're gonna do is take off the paper skin on the outside. So we're gonna cut this into 8 wedges. These are in 4 pieces, and they go under the sheet pan. Okay, we have these beautiful chicken thighs. Get some olive oil on here. I just wanna make sure the chicken and none of the veggies stick. I'm gonna get the chicken on the pan and coat it with olive oil, and then season with some salt. A little bit all everywhere. And you know what? Don't forget those onions. Get some in there too. And some pepper. Okie doke. Little paprika. That's gonna add a nice little smoky flavor to it. Okay, to top it all off, I really want this to be kind of on the tangy side, and sherry vinegar is super tangy. Get about 1/4 cup in there, and just do it all around the chicken. You just finished putting all that great seasoning on the chicken, so you don't wanna wipe it off with the vinegar. This is gonna end up being in the oven at 450 degrees, all told, about 35, 40 minutes, but only go in the beginning for 15 minutes, because then I'm gonna add some tomatoes and some garlic and some Castelveltrano olives. But you don't wanna put those in too early because they might burn. Now this goes into the oven. This looks beautiful. All right, you guys, pause up for who wants to spend a nice lazy afternoon, not in the kitchen cooking all day, but really relaxing with your cats. That's me. These chicken thighs are halfway through their cooking process. I've got some Castelveltrano olives, which I absolutely love. And then we have some multicolored tomatoes. And these are gonna go onto the sheet pan and they're gonna roast, but I wanna also get some garlic and some rosemary in there. Now I'm gonna slice the garlic. And then some rosemary. Okay, let's bring this up and get some olive oil in here and some salt and pepper. First the olive oil, so the salt and pepper sticks. A little salt. Not too much, those olives already have a lot of salt in them. And some pepper. Okay, now just pour this guy right onto your sheet pan. Just get them all around so they get roasted evenly. There we go. And then get it right back into the oven for about 20 minutes, depending on how thick your thighs are. Come in.
Hello.
Hi, how are ya? I have got to get the chicken out of the oven, so give me a chance to do that.
It smells so good.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. We totally need smell-o-vision. Careful, hot coming through.
I can get closer. Wow. I've never cooked with those olives.
Oh my God, they're the best olives to roast. They taste so amazing. Okay, there we go. Now let's get all of this yumminess. I love the way everything has blistered beautifully while it's been roasting.
And one pan cooking.
Mm-hmm. But just the final touch. Just a little bit of parsley.
Oh, nice.
Adds a perfect amount of freshness. Because there's no skin on here, I'm gonna cover these guys in some flour for a couple reasons. I want there to be a nice kind of crust. I also want to develop a nice thick sauce. So as these guys cook, the flour will fall off into the pan and that will flavor the sauce plus help thicken it. So what we're doing is we're gonna build a lot of flavor in this cacciatore. We start by searing the chicken and then we take the chicken out. Then we start adding in all kinds of like onions and garlic, red bell peppers and some mushrooms, all classic cacciatore ingredients. It's just gonna braise in tomato sauce on the back burner. This was one of my favorite dishes that my mom would make. It's comfort food. It's the best home-cooked meal. We'll get a nice sear on these thighs. I'm also gonna add a little more S&P to this side. So as these guys saute away, I'm gonna start prepping the veggies. The first things that are gonna go in after the chicken comes out are onion and garlic. I'm gonna get to the garlic. So we need about 4 cloves. These are nice big ones. Now let's slice these guys up. I bet it's time to turn the meat. Look at these guys. Looks like there's skin on it. It's also giving me some beautiful brown bits in there that we can go after later with some wine, which is another typical ingredient in cacciatore. I've got a beautiful red bell pepper. And we'll slice this up thinly too so we can see it. Now it's time for the cremini mushrooms. These are gorgeous. So we'll just give them a nice slice The mushrooms really give it this beautiful, earthy, wonderful flavor. So it's probably time to take these guys off so I can really start developing the flavors in the tomato sauce. And even if these guys aren't cooked all the way through yet, they're just seared on either side, don't worry, they're gonna cook for another 25 minutes once they get nestled into the tomato sauce. So first thing that goes in, we got this beautiful hot oil. Let's get the onions softened. Okay, now let's put the mushrooms in. So these are really starting to soften up beautifully, and there's enough of a mound of veggies here that I can throw the garlic in, because garlic does burn really easily. And now soften up the red bell pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to the veggie mixture. Really good to salt as you go. Okay, there are still some beautiful brown bits on the bottom. I think it's time for some wine. A half a cup. So now what we're gonna do is deglaze the pan. Get all of those yummy brown bits into the sauce that we're building. All of this alcohol is gonna burn right off. It's just gonna add a lovely bit of flavor. And while this cooks down, I'll chop up the herbs. I wanna get a little rosemary and a little oregano in here. All fresh herbs. There we go. And just get the knife in there and chop them all up. All right, that looks gorgeous. All the herbs go right in. Let's stir that up. Now it's time to add the tomatoes. So I've got a whole can of crushed tomatoes. Just get the whole thing in. Now before I get this mixed in, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper. We'll mix that in. I wanna make sure every veggie is covered with tomato. So my favorite ingredient goes in now. The black olives. So get them in there. And then to add a little bit more brininess, we got some capers, a couple tablespoons, and then we're gonna nestle that chicken back in here. This is gonna flavor up the chicken too. And the chicken is then gonna flavor up the tomato sauce. Just get it all in. Turn the back burner on, front burner off. Let's cover it up, onto the back burner. I'm here with Cassie and Colton. I've made them a nice home-cooked meal that my mama would always make for me when I'd come home to visit. You guys have been on the road, and I think when you've been on the road, you need a home-cooked meal.
Yes.
So I have made you some chicken cacciatore, which is one of my mom's dishes.
So
That's
good.
chicken and tomato sauce.